Yo.
Howdy.
Sup?
So mainframe was fun, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It feels like it was forever ago at this point, but it was actually just a week ago that we were talking to Donald Faison, who put his email out there into the abyss. And I pissed off Breck and Meyer.
You win some and you win some.
I guess. Decker, one of our consummate listeners and an old friend of mine, was immediately like, I emailed Donald Faison as soon as I saw that email address. So basically what happened was he logged in. There were 6 of us in this fucking StreamYard chat, and we were all supposed to do this Robot Chicken panel. I don't think we talked about Robot Chicken basically at all.
No, we didn't.
But everybody had their name in there except for Donald Faison, who put up his actual factual email address, which was a huge blunder because his phone was basically exploding. It was fine, I think, until Breckenmeyer pointed it out like, hey, look, Donald put his email out there. Everyone should email him. And then
everyone on the chat was like, oh, I'm emailing him right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Great.
Oops, better than a phone number.
Mark, have you gone back and watched the interviews that we did, or are you like me where you're like, I can't see myself?
Kind of. Yeah, I went back and watched the Lamorne Morris one. That was a good interview. He talked about a lot of the projects he's working on, and it was fun. It was fun talking about like sports too with him. You know, it wasn't so like fucking set up seemingly. I don't know. With interviews, it's kind of hard because you don't want to be the guy that's, how do I put this? You want to let them talk. You know, it's half the time in an interview, the interviewer is not even in there. So
yeah, you're taking a back seat and you're letting this person talk about what they're working on. And it is difficult, but also it's easy when you're talking to somebody who's like super cool, like Lamorne Morris, and he's just like, yeah, here's what I'm working on. Here's why I think it's funny. Super cool guy.
Yeah. But for the Robot Chicken interview, I went back and just watched the part where everyone realized that Donald Faison put his email there, and just looked at all of our faces and fucking, we were all just cracking up, dying. And then I started looking at like what the chat was saying. Fucking great.
I mean, what were we supposed to do? You know, like it just is what it is at that point. Like it's live, and you know, the 500 people or whatever that are watching it live, and then everybody that sees it afterward, they're just going to get what they get.
Yeah.
So
I was cutting a clip together too for it. And then I started thinking like, oh, should I not post this because I'm like putting his email out there even more? And then I'm like, his email's gone. Like it doesn't fucking matter either way.
Honestly,
completely gone.
Fucking completely burned that and moved on by now.
Yeah.
But it was a really good time. We got to talk to Seth Green, Breckenmeyer, and Donald Faison, and we had a one-on-one, I guess 2-on-1, you and I with Lamorne Morris. It was so much fun. That was such a cool thing to do. Yeah. We need to. I haven't gone back and watched them just because I'm just like, I hate seeing my face. I hate hearing my voice. But we need to post those on our YouTube or cut some clips for the Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, agreed. I'm working on it.
Good stuff.
I guess mental health check. Brick, how you doing?
Broken, full broken. Quarantine's got me.
What's wrong? Talk to me. I'm here for you.
It is what it is. Too much inside. Finally got out this weekend. Played some BP, did some batting practice, got some sun, went on like a 2-hour walk with Khaleesi today. Just getting out there. I did a labyrinth while I was at the park today. You just go, it's not even a maze. You just walk through it.
You look like you got some sun. So
I did. Good. Finally. I needed to get outside. But yeah, full broken brain quarantine.
I'm complete opposite right now. Complete opposite. Yesterday, I made the fucking mistake of wearing a tank top outside and thinking I could just be outside all day wearing a tank top and I'd be fine. I came back inside with the worst farmer's tan from the tank, and I'm just burnt and I'm done going outside. That's it. I'm fucking done. Done going outside forever.
For the listeners, my wife and I went over to Mark's. He was nice enough to host us. Like, we had socially distant beers in his backyard. Moose was being a dick. I brought Remy over. His sisters were there. It was a good time. We just sat like 6 feet away from each other and just drank some beers.
Very king of the hill of you. Just sipping beers.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were burnt when it was happening. Like,
Yeah.
middle of the day, I showed up and you were already sunburnt.
Crispy.
I was on an outside high. I was feeling too good, First time being outside. Well, first time like actually being outside for more than like an hour. Because there's no point to be outside when the first couple of weeks of this quarantine, everyone didn't want to even be near each other. So there's no point to even leave your house.
Plus,
I mean, you're like Eastern European descent, though, right? So
yeah,
of course you're gonna get burned.
Quick burn. The German in you.
The German in me.
I did the most dad shit ever. Like I mowed my backyard today. I washed my car. I pulled some weeds. I organized my toolbox, which is the most boring shit ever. But it's so cathartic just to do shit like that. Just like something like mowing the lawn where like here's what you've done already and here's how far you have to go to finish it. Something about that is just like the completionist in me. It's like video games where that's relaxing to me somehow.
Getting things off your to-do list. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if that wall,
pay somebody to do it, and I mean, who cares? But
did you build that wall finally in the basement?
That wall is the bane of my existence. It's fucking terrible. I hate doing it, but yeah, it's up. I have to hang the door still and also finish the actual drywall, like the spackle and shit. But yeah, it's there.
Wasn't it going to be a bathroom at first, or you just get to the point where you're like, I'm not doing this right now?
That was my original idea, is it would be a half bath. It'd be super nice to have in the basement, but also like with a baby coming, it's just kind of like, we need storage.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
But Mark, you set up a stereo system in your basement this week.
Yeah, I did fucking with the help of Kelly's dad, who did like 80% of everything. But yeah, it's set up. It makes the world of a difference having surround sound. I was a big soundbar guy, but having surround sound, it's
not the same.
It's not the same as a soundbar. And soundbars right now are like $800 for a pretty good one. They're pretty high end. You could find one for like $200, but that's a shitty ass like Vizio one that is 3 years old.
Dude, I've got a Vizio one in my room, and it's not bad considering how little space it takes up, and the fact that it's remote. The subwoofer like doesn't have to be wired in directly. It's remote, so like you don't have to run wires through your floor. It's actually fine.
Yeah, but it's just not the same regardless.
But also in my theater in the basement, like it's a full fucking 7.2 surround. Like that's, if you're gonna watch movies to the fullest degree, like that's what you gotta have.
Yeah.
In your home theater. Otherwise it's Dolby.
Yeah. They sell now like the Dolby Atmos, which is basically it has a speaker on either side of the TV which fires sound up, so that you can like hear stuff coming down, which is the whole thing is nobody cares about this, but it's I'm gonna shut up now. Disclaimer. I've been drinking for a long time.
Are we getting rambling, Smithers? Well, you know how speakers work.
And let you guys talk because nobody wants to hear me this episode.
No one wants to hear me this episode. I'm broken. Doesn't matter. You're good.
My brainless
be a big Mark episode.
So speaking of brainless repetitive tasks, I posted like 30 of my Funko Pops individually on eBay today. And one of my vaulted pops for all the Funko Pop collectors out there, I have the Dark Knight masked the bank robber version of Joker. I got a $300 offer for it, and I bought it for like $70 a couple of years ago. I'm gonna tell the guy to just fuck off. I'm gonna be like, no, this is a $400 pop. I'm gonna do what Brick sent me in that meme where that guy, it was a screenshot of him talking to this guy on like fucking Craigslist. He's like, all right, meet me at this address, and he shows up and it's at a comedy club. And he's like, wait, I'm at a comedy club. He's like, yeah, get up on stage and tell your jokes to somebody else. That's what I'm gonna do.
Like, you don't have to be a dick about it. You just say like, no, I'm not going to sell it to you with this price.
Imagine me making a guy drive like 20, 30 plus miles to a comedy club and fucking telling him to get up on stage because he actually gave me a pretty decent offer on a Funko, but I just wasn't happy.
That's what I'm saying is like, he's not even being a dick about it. He's not like, I'll give you $50.
Yeah, it is a fair offer.
He's literally
Rick.
He's giving you like a 300% increase on what you paid originally. How about you? Actually, suck it, loser.
That's funny.
Suck 'em, fatty.
Mark, I don't know if I got your mental health back in. How you doing with the sun and everything?
I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Awesome. Well, it was very nice of you and Kelly to have us over yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It was the most social interaction we've had in quite some time.
Yeah. I guess we should ask the drunkest person here. How are you doing on this quarantine, dude?
Well, I'm the drunkest person here, so it's
is that a Bud Light or a Deja Blue?
This is a Victory Golden Monkey.
I thought you were drinking a canned water for a second, but fucking,
no.
I'm out of my mind if I actually thought that was the case.
9.5% alcohol.
Oh my god! Jesus Christ! It's drunken born.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man. Like it is what it is at this point. Although I was talking to your brother-in-law yesterday about my favorite brewery in Chicago called Off Color, and I went to the local liquor store today, and they're selling a beer called like Perfect for Tacos or something like that, and it is what it is. It is what it says it is. It's fucking delicious. It's a Ghost, which is like a really light, kind of a little bit fruity beer, and it's fucking excellent. So if you get a chance, if you go to your local liquor store and you see Off Color Brewing, their cans are usually kind of like black and white grayscale.
Are they off color?
So good. It's fucking excellent. I can't wait to have whatever they put out next.
Ringing endorsement as he pounds the beer. Confirmed.
It is what it is. Also, so my anniversary is tomorrow. My 1 year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We have not gotten divorced yet. It's coming.
Cool.
Allegedly, this child is mine, but whatever. So Alinea, which is like a 3 Michelin star restaurant in downtown Chicago, is doing takeout stuff now. So like for their 15th anniversary, they're like, hey, come pick up this, whatever, this meal, and you just have to put it together. Apparently it's like 15 Tupperware things, and like you just have to fucking do it on your own. So I don't know what we're really paying for, but Erica was like, yeah, I need this, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's our anniversary, let's do it.
You better heat up like 15 taquitos to go with that meal, because they give you those smallest baby portions, that you cut with a little knife and a little fork.
Dude, I'll just order a pizza along with it. How was your Pequods?
It was pretty good. Feeling it today though.
Oh, you're just like
I'm just
groggy, or are you just pooping?
I just feel like a goo, Yeah,
so you're pooping. Got it.
Yeah.
Brick, you've had Pequods, right?
Yeah, I've had Pequods. I miss real pizza.
Yeah, you probably can't get that in Colorado, right? What's the best food like near you?
They have a Giordano's out here, but it's too far away for me to actually order. So the garlic naan is what I usually get. If I just get Chipotle is the closest actual restaurant to my house, so I just get Chipotle.
That's a chain though, like it's not.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, when pizza's not actually good out here, and you're used to that Chicago good stuff. I mean, I just had Portillo's the other day. I was like, oh, damn, food actually is so much better in Chicago, like 1,000 times better in Chicago.
There is actually
but food's good.
There's a funny ass robot chicken. Did you see the one where we were trying to finish the latest season with the princess up in the castle, and the beast comes in and is like, "You're not eating," and leaves, and she just calls Chipotle and gets it delivered, and the guy like swings in. Pretty hilarious. Robot chicken was. I've never got into robot chicken, but wanted to catch up because of that interview we had last week. It's actually really funny.
They have some great skits in there. Some of them they just come at you one after another. That's the perfect for my ADD brain.
Yeah,
it's always been hilarious, and the way that like it's sketch comedy without having to have actual good sketch actors, because you just, not to say that the voice actors aren't good, but you don't have to include that in there. Like you can just write a good sketch, somebody does a voiceover, and then like we asked them specifically, like, do you voice over first, and then they acquiesce to that, and that's apparently how they do it. So good. 10 seasons later, it's so fucking fun.
It's something. Yeah, there's also something about the actual way it's animated and using the toys and the stop action motion.
No question.
It just adds another level or degree of like humor that they can kind of play with, which is kind of like what this other is an HBO Max show, or is it an Hulu show?
perfect fucking segue.
Crossing Swords.
I was gonna hold that off, but this is Crossing Swords coming to Hulu. And go ahead. Why don't you tell me about what you think about it, Brick?
Well, it kind of jumps into that same genre. It's I don't know if it's a specific toy that they're actually like going after, but it seems like just a general.
Very strange.
Yeah, it's like a general wooden figure. It's kind of like shitty puppets or like kind of action figures. But back in the day, they also had. It's just that in the medieval era, I suppose. It's wonky because did they show actual dick and balls in the trailer? Like, can you show dick and balls in the trailer? Look at that. It's crazy.
Well, they did. They did. Little clay dick and balls.
Yeah, it looks hilarious. It's basically Robot Chicken without the actual action figures, which I'm totally here for because
It's like,
why not?
Shout out to Watch It Like. It's like Enchanted or no, Disenchantment mixed with Robot Chicken.
Yeah, and it's got some really big voice actors. It's Tony Hale, which is
my boy Buster from Arrested Development. He's from
Luke Evans, Seth Green, who we talked to last weekend, Adam Pally, who you love, Brick, Yvette Nicole Brown from Community, and Breckin Meyer, who hates me now.
Who's your
He's
boy?
just a voice actor, right? Not a writer.
That was a big fuck up on my part, and I didn't mean to do that, but I
definitely instigated. I'm like, dude, Ryan, he writes. He's like,
I felt really bad about that. I obviously it wasn't intentional, but also fuck you, Breckin Meyer.
Yeah,
whatever. They love giving each other shit.
Yeah.
Why did they call Donald Faison an intern? Is he really an intern? Because they call him that and he doesn't react. And then I like asked him a question about him interning and doing all the stop motion, and everyone's like, ooh.
Why would you say that? That was, by the way, that was really a bad thing to say. Like that was worse, in my opinion, than what I said about Breckin Meyer.
I read an article. It said he was an intern.
Credited actor. He's a very talented credited actor who everybody recognizes, and you call him an intern.
That's perfect. No, that's perfect for their style of humor as well. It's just they're going to give shit to everybody, and that's why they were laughing when you brought it up in the first place.
Little did they know we weren't trying to give them shit. We were
just, you guys are just stupid. Dumb idiots. Yeah, it is what it is.
Little did they know we were just dumbasses. Yeah.
They're just chumps. They're just chumps on the Chumpcast.
Bunch of chumps.
Let's talk about this Ass Creed trailer. Brick, do you want to take hold of this because you are the resident video game dork?
Hell yeah. Fantastic cinematics. That's absolutely what Assassin's Creed's always been kind of known for, is having those 6 cinematics. I like the aspect of the Viking tribe that they're getting behind, because it goes back to the Black Flag era, in my opinion, in terms of the story, where you're a pirate. You shouldn't care about anybody. You should just be like a psychopath and murder, plunder, do all that. Basically playing the role of good guy or bad guy as that known villain, I guess, throughout society and throughout like historic history is kind of fun to play the fence there. And I think there's going to be a lot to go on there. Also with the Viking longships, I think they can come back to some of the good like sea combat that they had and really open the world up to exploring in that regard. So I'm actually, it literally looks like Charlie Hunnam is the lead guy.
It really does. And this honestly, like, it looks like Witcher, but with Assassin's Creed and like wrist knives.
Oh, the classic.
I mean, it looks great. Don't get me wrong. This is coming to not only the consoles we have now, but also at holiday at the end of this year. It's coming to the newer consoles, so it'll be like a launch title.
Interesting. Well, that's classic Assassin's Creed. They have one coming out every single year, but they have such a loyal fan base.
The one where they took like a year off and they were like, okay, let's make an actual good game.
And that's the difference that I've seen that they've slowed down production. They haven't done the Call of Duty route where they're churning them out ever since they had the first one with the Dawn of Civilization in, I believe it was Egypt, and then it was Odyssey, and now it's Valhalla. And those are kind of evolving every 2 years now, and they're actually making changes to the game and making the story like worthy rather than just throwing stuff together.
Yeah.
Sorry if you mentioned this already, but isn't this like one of the you can play as a female lead? Like your first person could be a female, right?
So
Is this like one of the first games where you can do that as a female?
No,
Like play a campaign like that?
no, they
Besides
had
like Tomb Raider.
no, they had a few different options where you could be a female lead and male lead earlier in the franchise of Assassin's Creed. They had it, I believe they started it in England, was when they had the first, where there was a brother and sister and you alternated between the two, and each kind of had their own different unique kind of assassin skills and abilities to kind of traverse throughout the map. So each one had their own little missions that they were kind of good at. They've kind of evolved that as well, and just it's more or less, I believe, a skin at this point, just to be able to choose who you want. But
so
they've tried it
the
before.
background is players are cast as Ivor, is the name of the Viking, fierce Viking warrior raised on stories of fighting, fame, and glory. Through the official art, that it can be a man or a woman. So basically, if you want to be really bad at parallel parking, you can be the woman.
Wow.
Dark. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's true. That's
sorry, I've been reading. I can't help it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a very small dig.
But
anyway,
I wonder,
and you're basically leading their clan into battle against the Dark Age British people, which
you're for sure going to get alternate stats depending on the gender you choose, right? I would assume
potentially. They also gear yourself, I think, potentially towards the weapons that you can use. So maybe there's different kind of kill animations and stuff along those lines.
It would be smart if they were like strength versus dexterity, like that. That would be a good modifier in this game,
right?
Yeah,
and that's kind of, they let you kind of choose your own skill set basically when you do evolve through. So I wonder if kind of it branches off like the other ones do.
Yeah, that'd be fun because then it has more replay value too.
Yeah, very true.
We'll see. Did you guys see the trailer for Lovecraft Country?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So this is pretty damn weird looking. It's an HBO series produced by Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams. I have no clue what this is about, but also monsters. Mark, what'd you think?
Another trailer where he just takes a song, slows it down, mixes it up a little bit, and this is definitely a Jordan Peele trailer, and it looks fine. It definitely has a bizarre twist throughout the middle of the trailer. You get to see like all the shit that's going to go down, and it's not really what I expected. He has some like realism based in a lot of what he does with film, and this is just a complete opposite, like sci-fi turn. So I didn't see that coming. I'm all for it though. I'm a big HBO guy. You guys all know that. So
it's a zombie movie where there's more than one villain. As in, it's taking from the perspective of a black family, or like the main character, the lead is a black male and four female in like the era.
I thought you were going to leave that at the lead is a black.
Yeah, no, in an era during high racism. And so like, not only are the zombies going to be the problem, but also like the white supremacists are going to be a problem. And so it seems like they're going to be taking on multiple fronts in this. I love the historical the historical angle for this. I'm actually huge on it. That's, me, period piece guy. But at the same time, I think it's like a unique take on more of a zombie movie, that there isn't just, it's us versus the zombies and we got to band together. It's like, yo, white people, we're fucking everything up, man. Like, you got to just work together. It's like taking on two different fronts and seeing how they all kind of come together. I like the angle that they're going with in this movie.
I'm a huge fan of historical fiction, which it seems like this is. So absolutely in for this. Plus, I mean, the producers make it seem like it's just a home run at the start. So we'll see.
It's HBO Max. Is this enough to get you to get HBO Max when it releases?
Well, this isn't all that's coming. There's a shit ton of DC stuff that's going to be exclusive to animation. All these animated films and shows they're announcing, but HBO Max is gonna get a lot of shows. I feel like that, like I think they're getting a lot of the Studio Ghibli films, which you can only get on Netflix if you're international, and that's a huge pull. That's gonna get a lot of people in. But you also mentioned the zombies. I was more intrigued by the monsters. It's not just zombies. It's like full-fledged monsters, demogorgons for for Joe that's in the chat. Got to do another D&D reference. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Are we sure this is HBO Max? I thought this was going straight to HBO as a series.
It should be. It's going to go to HBO like Go or whatever app you have for sure. I don't know.
Oh, this is You know what? This is HBO series produced by Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams. I'm looking at the next thing underneath here that says HBO Max. Take it away.
All right. So let's talk about some. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of movie news, but we've got some announcements, I guess, for upcoming movies.
Yeah.
So the first one of these is for a movie called The American Pickle. And this is an HBO film, so it's coming straight to HBO Max. The story concerns Herschel Greenbaum, played by Seth Rogen, and he's a struggling laborer who immigrated to America in the 1920s, accidentally falls into a vat of pickles and is brined for 100 years. And it preserves him perfectly. And when he emerges in present-day Brooklyn, so like 2020 Brooklyn, he's just like what he was 100 years ago. This is an insane movie take.
Is he a pickle man? Is he like pruned to the to death basically, but he's still alive?
Not
obviously,
he's just a guy who was preserved.
So he just was preserved in pickle brine.
And he comes and meets his grandson now, who is just regular Seth Rogen.
I like it. It's so dumb. I like it a lot.
It's so dumb. There's going to be so much pot smoking in the middle of whatever this episode or this movie is. Like it's so Seth Rogen.
When I saw a talking pickle, I just immediately thought of Sausage Party. Does he just sit there, get high, eat fucking whatever he's eating? He just thinks of a fucking something he can write, a script he can write for a new movie based on the food he's fucking eating. I don't know.
And he gets paid millions of dollars to do it.
I know. Do we have the drop still or no? Too late.
Yes, we do have the drop still. Even though I almost fucked that up. You started to say it was too late when I already had clicked the button. So there we go. In other news, from Charlie Cox directly, the guy who was Netflix's Daredevil, he's saying now that he has not heard the rumors that he is supposed to play Daredevil and reprise his role in Spider-Man 3. He says that he's not involved, and if that's true, it's not with him, it's with a different actor. Brick, does that suck?
It's a bummer, but not really. I mean, Daredevil was fine. I was never like a super fan of those Marvel Netflix series. So this is again not a big blow to me. Yeah. Mark?
I mean, those Marvel series obviously weren't that good on Netflix if they just fucking canned all of them. So it's whatever.
Because they were bad. Some of them I can't think because they were bad. Iron Fist was bad, and that's why they fucking canceled it. But I think that most of it was over contract disputes, and Disney was launching their own streaming service, and now all of a sudden they just don't want to give their rights to anybody except for just having it in-house with Disney.
I'm just trying to stir the pot, but seriously, give the people what they want. Bring back Affleck as fucking Daredevil. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, we want Jennifer Garner as Elektra too. Yeah,
favorite fucking actress on the planet.
Garner's gotten. I think she's gotten better looking with age.
You're insane. Next, you're gonna tell me that Maggie Gyllenhaal was the best part of the fucking Dark Knight.
She wasn't too
bad. Did you see her performance?
Oh my god, the best part of that movie was when she died because she was horrible.
No, exactly, because her acting was so good that you really felt that moment in there. That's why you thought that was the best part of the movie.
Dude, when Heath Ledger grabs her cheeks, what other actress has cheeks like that where he's like, you want to see these scars? And she's just freaking out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for an actress's cheeks.
Don't get too cheeky now, Ryan.
Yeah. You
I'll
cheeky
see myself
motherfucker.
Thank you. Bye, Brick. Space Jam 2 is officially titled Space Jam: A New Legacy, according to an Instagram video from LeBron. This is going to be terrible, right?
We've heard about this movie for the last 4 years, I feel like, right?
Okay, so you've seen movies recently where, look, next time you watch a movie, Look and see the production company. It's called Bron, Bron. It's LeBron James producing that movie, and this is going to be one of those. So I'm not.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Tell me another movie that is under Braun production.
I actually think he helped produce The Invisible Man. I'd have to go back and look at that, but I'm pretty sure that he was on board for that. But once he moved to LA, he started rolling out more of these, and also don't ruin Space Jam. Like, Space Jam's already terrible, and I still watch it all the time. It's just part of my childhood, so this is going to be really upsetting for me.
Mark, you are going to be very surprised to hear that this notable productions include The Mule, first of all, with our boy Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Also, there was a bunch of other ones. There's a bunch of other ones that I'm not going to say. And then there's Ghostbusters Afterlife and Joker.
Really?
Joker, the one with Joaquin Phoenix. That's a little surprising.
So, if you don't know, producers are basically just the people who back things financially. So LeBron obviously has the money to do that. He can back whatever fucking movie he wants as long as he thinks it's good and he's going to make money off of it. So what you do is front a couple $1 million and then take a percentage on the back end. And that's the business of movies.
Yeah, but also that's pretty cool that he funded part of Joker. I think I just didn't expect that. That was more of a surprise than I thought.
But now he's going to ruin Space Jam. So
did he ruin the Joker?
He didn't, but also he wasn't the director and he had zero artistic input.
Is he the director of Space Jam 3 or Space Jam 2?
Star of Space Jam.
Well, is he okay? So he's not directing it or anything like that. He's gonna be in it.
He's the focal point of it. So,
but he's not directing it. You think he's gonna have that much say in it instead of just being the star?
Yeah, I mean, he's undoubtedly a better actor than Michael Jordan, but this is gonna suck because it's not going to be the original.
Depends on what creative route they take. They need to get Lamorne Morris in there. He's a LeBron guy. He'd be good for comedic roles.
The Newman role.
Ooh, he could. I could see him being in the Newman role. I didn't want to give him the Bill Murray role. That's a little. I think Bill Murray should just come back.
Yeah, Bill Murray's probably going to be the actual Bill Murray to come back for this. But yeah, that's probably not fair to Lamorne because he's actually in shape and shit. But I get what you're saying.
He just get him in there for some comic relief. We don't need to take certain characters.
Exactly.
That's all we need. Want Lamorne.
Yeah. So, one other piece of news. Starting May 27th, Marvel Comics is going to start shipping their comics again, presumably through Diamond, the distributor. So they're releasing them both physically and digitally. This includes weeklies and bi-weeklies, monthlies, all that shit. This includes blah, 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 blah. The presser doesn't specify. Yes, I'm drunk. Deal with it. They're also going to start releasing new trades. So this is good news for the comic book industry.
Well, actually, DC is releasing comics this upcoming week. So in 2 days. So DC has a good amount of books that are coming out, more than I thought they did. I just saw the list that was sent to me by my shop. And it sounds like all the indie publishers like Image, Dark Horse, etc., they're going to be the week before Marvel. So Marvel is actually the last publisher to ship out their books. So yeah, just a fun factoid. All right, I actually want to bring something up to you guys because we had some good response on this post, and I figured we should give our pick 3 of these 9 TV dramas, completed TV dramas. So I didn't include anything like technically. What's a good example?
Watchmen.
Well, Watchmen just started. I wouldn't use that.
Watchmen.
We don't know yet.
It might be completed. Would Watchmen be considered like a limited series then? Could we do a limited series type of post next?
I would call it limited, but also we don't know if it's ended yet. So
yeah, like True Detective would be a good limited series, but that technically isn't ending.
Is that a limited series? I thought limited series was like limited to one season or some shit like
It's
that.
a mini series.
No, I would call that more of like a vignette thing, like a season to season's a different story.
So what was Chernobyl?
That's a limited series for sure.
Yes.
Not a vignette. What's the difference between that and a vignette? Why wasn't it a vignette?
Because vignettes imply that there are more stories, whereas Chernobyl is just one story.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So tell me, give me your only keep 3 of this list right here.
Go
What
ahead.
are you guys thinking?
Obviously, got to give it to my girl Khaleesi. She's actually my dog.
Shit.
Game of Thrones,
all time.
The Sopranos, Gabagool, and then Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad is the GOAT.
The fact that the last season of Game of like I feel like you have to stick the landing to be a GOAT drama, and Game of Thrones completely fucking botched that. It's not fucking close. They fucked up so hard.
Well, what's yours?
So for me, it's Breaking Bad, which absolutely stuck the landing.
Yeah, obviously. I didn't do one. I wasn't in any order.
Sure, I'm not saying any order either.
Okay.
Sopranos for me is absolutely all time.
Okay, so we match on 2.
And people are sleeping on Mr. Robot. Like if you've not seen Mr. Robot, and especially the last season, it gets so much better. It's so fucking good. The entire thing is good. Rami Malek is an amazing actor, and he plays a psychopath so well, like a bipolar, disassociative mind. He's so good at that, and he's fucking amazing. It's honestly, if you haven't started it, please give it a shot. Now, I mean, you're not doing anything else. You might as well watch Mr. Robot.
Okay, well, let's back up for a second. We should be upfront and let people know which of those we've seen, because I haven't seen all of those. So have you guys all seen Mad Men? I have.
Yes.
I haven't seen it all the way through, but I've seen like 4 seasons of it.
Okay, what about The Wire?
I've again seen like 4 seasons of it.
You didn't finish The Wire and you watched 4 seasons of it?
I think I got to like 3 seasons, and I was watching it at work, and then I stopped watching it because I got fired.
Okay, Breaking Bad, that's a yes. Game of Thrones, that's a yes. Sopranos, we've all seen that, right?
Yep.
Lost, I actually haven't seen Lost. How about you guys?
I have not either.
Okay.
So we've
I've not, but also I know how it ends, which sucks.
Same.
Okay.
Like Eric keeps trying to get me to watch it, and I'm just like, well, I already know how it ends, and I've heard that it's fucking terrible. Like this is the same thing, because you were asking me, Mark, like, how do you like, should we replace one of these series with another one? And you mentioned Dexter, and again, Dexter did not stick the landing. It was fucking terrible in the last season. So for me, if I know that it's a bad ending, I'm not interested.
It's kind of funny how that can really change somebody's, like, if they think a show is great versus good, because that Game of Thrones for sure. I would have picked Game of Thrones if they didn't fuck up season 9 or 8 or whatever, season 8, I think, whatever. They didn't fuck up the last season. It probably would have been on my pick 3 list.
No doubt.
It's kind of
because
shitty.
up until that point, the writing is so spot on and brilliant.
Yeah.
But the last season, they just were like, fuck it. Let's, I don't know, make a fucking horrible season.
Let's wrap it up and then start making revenue streams in 4 other different miniseries that we plan on doing, then fell off. That was their mindset. So
pretty much.
What about Sons of Anarchy? I've seen it.
I have not seen that.
I've seen part of it.
I think you guys need to watch that. That was a contender for being like 4th. Mr. Robot, I have not seen.
I've seen lots of Mr. Robot. I feel like for Sons of Anarchy, I saw the Opie scene in jail, and then I was like, I only saw season 6. I was like, oh, that's good. I was like, oh, Opie. I felt it. I came in on it, but I was started out so late. Now I just don't care. I'm not going back.
You haven't seen Mr. Robot, right, Brick?
I have. I've seen like
Okay.
I saw like the first I think 2 seasons only though. I need to get it. I loved it though. That was one of my shows I loved. I can't believe I stopped watching it, to be honest.
So when I was making this, Leftovers was definitely a wild card, but I've seen it and I thought it was great, but I just didn't know how many people have seen it and also thought it was amazing. But surprisingly, there was a lot of people that were putting Leftovers on their keep 3 list.
What is the Leftovers about again? People like losing people?
The rapture happens, and
Yep.
some people get taken up to heaven, and the rest of them are just left behind. So, like
It's
the people who are left on Earth, it follows their story.
Interesting.
Yeah, like 1 in 3 people just disappear, vanish in thin air.
And did you guys finish it? You guys finished it?
I did.
I have not, but Andy, our friend at glitchup.com, is like, he says that's his favorite drama of all time. So eventually I'll get there. It's been recommended to me. It's just like, it's not on my, to me, it's like, I would rather watch Mr. Robot because basically just like the background of it appeals to me more than Leftovers, where like the rapture happens and it's like religious whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, I would say Mad Men, Sopranos, Breaking Bad.
Okay,
that's my 3.
I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with 3 of these selections. Like, they're all goats.
That's another thing. What pissed me off in the comments are like the few people that would just name one. They're like, Sopranos. All others are shit. I'm just like, no, dude, they're not. They're actually all fucking really good series.
All others are
Everyone wants to be right constantly, though, and everybody thinks that they're like, for me, if I see something like this and everybody says like Leftovers is the best series of all time, that makes me want to watch Leftovers.
Yeah.
So, Elise is in the chat and she's asking me what streaming service Mr. Robot is on. You can get it on Hulu right now. It originally aired on USA. I think there are only 4 seasons, so it's not a super long watch. And honestly, Rami Malek is fucking amazing.
That first season just takes you on a wild ride, and it's fun. It's dark.
You start to realize certain things about him, and it just gets better and better.
It's a great evolution of a character.
Yeah, Decker, I agree with you. Sons was a very bingeable series for me, but I actually, when I was watching it, I was like waiting for the episodes to come out each week. I was on top of it. But if you haven't seen Sons, I would say go binge that shit. It's on literally everything: Netflix, Hulu, whatever.
FX has like the Hulu arrangement, so absolutely check it out if you can. That's on my list. It's coming soon. So
yeah.
Best.
We the best.
Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible. But thank you.
I'm going to kick this off because I'm going to tell this story and then I'm going to go get another beer, which I don't need, but I'm going to drink it anyways.
Sweet.
So, an Alabama man, which is how you know this story is already good. An Alabama man named Richard Maguire, a 42-year-old guy, was allegedly caught camping on the Disney World premises. So he told police that he was unaware that he was trespassing, but he was staying on the island adventure, the tropical paradise portion of Disney. So obviously everything at Disney World's closed down right now. But this guy just basically like took a rowboat and was just like, fuck it, I'm going to fucking camp on this island. I think this is the most baller move of all time. And it's just like for him to come in and just deny everything, like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to go where nobody else is at the current time and just fucking hang out? You know that everything is like perfectly, I don't know, curated, I guess, like all of the plants and everything. This is just set up perfectly for somebody to camp there. I am so proud of this guy. I wish I was his best friend.
Promos.
Wait, Discovery Island. So does that have anything to, what is Discovery Island?
I'm struggling to think of it because I've only been to Disney once. And I don't think that I ever went there. But this Mobile, Alabama guy was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go camp there because why not? He had already been staying there for 5 days before the police showed up and were like, what are you doing here? He was just like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to fucking stay here.
Okay, so it's a 11.5 acre island in Bay Lake, Florida, located on the property of Walt Disney World in the city of Bay Lake. Attraction open to guests who can observe many species of animals and birds. So it's literally the Disney Zoo. And here's the guy, by the way.
Of course, that's the guy. Of course it is.
Yo, that guy is Florida, and he's not even from Florida. He is Bama. He's Florida Bama, 100%.
No, he's a Bama guy. Bama man.
Roll Tide.
Roll damn Tide. So I'm going to go get another beer. Britt, who's your best man alive?
My best man alive. So this video went a little viral the other day, and it was just Mike Tyson at 53, just slaying some bags with his coach, with his boxing coach, which is just his trainer, I suppose. What do you think? Do you think he still got it? Who do you take? You take Mike Tyson or Deontay Wilder in the ring today?
People are going to call me stupid, but I just love Mike Tyson. And after seeing that video, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'd rather take a punch to the stomach from Deontay Wilder than Mike Tyson after watching that video. I
totally agree. The pure shoulders and mass behind those swings is just insane. I'm all about. I was happy to see Mike Tyson back in there just doing his own thing. In an interview, he said that he's like sad because he knows that he lost a step and like he knows that he isn't as good as he once was. But at the same time, dude, you are still fucking top. You're up there, dog. That's crazy.
I'm like super confused because I specifically remember in an interview he was talking about why he doesn't even like hit the bag anymore. And he was saying it just brings out that aggressive side of him that he doesn't want to have come to fruition again. And now he's doing it. So hopefully it's a good thing. Like he's kind of overcome that and he can just find himself and be like, okay, I can still do this and not go over the top and fucking start ripping cocaine and all that kind of shit, that he used to do. So
focusing on the physical and well-being of just the actual getting the workout in rather than the actual, stress and aggravation and, the aggression behind it. Or that could be also a good release too, mentally, when you're out there just, throwing punches. I do that VR boxing. It feels great. Throw on the AirPods, go in there, just start fighting virtual reality people and just knocking them out and then just standing over them like I'm fucking Muhammad Ali. It feels so great. It's hilarious. Great workout. Yeah.
Oh my! I hope Mike Tyson comes back though and just fights somebody for like a fundraiser, or something. Mike Tyson. I feel like you got to chime in on this, Smithers.
We brought up my best man was Mike Tyson for that viral video of him absolutely just going to town, getting back into form.
I didn't see that, but sure.
What?
It was everywhere. It was everywhere. It was just him throwing like a couple of combos, and then even the trainer was like, "All right, man, just take it easy."
Yeah, dude, he is
killer, no doubt.
He is fierce.
He's got literally a killer instinct.
Jeez. I have one more worst man alive.
Mark doesn't have one.
I'm sorry, Mark. Do you have one?
It's actually an aquarium in Japan is the best aquarium alive because they've encouraged people to video chat in for the eels who they feel like they think that humans don't exist anymore. So they want to show the eels like, hey, humans are still out there. They care. Here they are through video chat. So this Tokyo Skytree aquarium, which happens to be in Japan's tallest structure. I don't know if it's like kind of like Singapore-ish where they actually have like a tree wrapping around it or whatever. But yeah, they're basically video chatting people in to talk to eels. Dude.
That's like a worthy call to action. Like you have to get people in there because they don't want. The problem is that the eels are hiding from the people who actually like help them. Like the actual zoo workers. So because like they're not used to seeing people anymore, and it's a worthy endeavor. So like make sure that the eels are used to people being around.
So you read about this, obviously.
I did. Yeah. I think it's great. Like, why not help the eels?
I'm for it. They're kind of creepy.
Help the eels.
They seem like a menacing kind of creature, to be honest. They're always the villain in seawater creatures.
They're always like shoot out and they're just like go back in their little cave thing and be like,
yeah,
their fucking mouths are always open. Their mouth breathing. I'm like, what are you doing?
You're gross too, but I've helped you before.
Yeah,
hear that.
I guess.
Okay.
What was your next one?
Been alive. I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
No, I said, what was your next one?
Oh, it was Mike Pence, who is the vice president of the United States, who apparently just thinks he doesn't need to wear a mask when he goes to the Mayo Clinic. Like, literally the most prestigious fucking hospital in the entire country.
He has God on his side.
And they were talking about like how if you come here, you have to put a mask on. And for him to show up and not put a fuck, like, I'm gonna try not to harp on this for too long because I know it's getting political, but Jesus, like, don't be so fucking stupid. And his wife is now saying like, no, they never email us, even though like the press that was there is saying, here's the email that they sent to everybody who's showing up at the fucking Mayo Clinic. It's very frustrating.
It's called lead by example. You know, put a damn mask on if you want everyone else to wear a mask on. Just seems like it's common sense. No one had the fucking optics or like the vision behind being like, yo, Mike, maybe put this on, dog. They made it look so good.
Well, that's the thing, is that is the optics, and there's a certain group of people that he's shooting for here where it's like they're standing outside the Capitol building in every fucking state in the United States, and they all have assault rifles for some reason, even though they don't really need them, and they're all saying like, open up the state, and they're all going to get the virus and die. So
virus taking our gerbs.
Turketers. Here we are.
Yep.
I have even fucking brought this up. It's so fucking infuriating to me.
Staying on politics for one more second though. Did you guys see that video of Lori Lightfoot like walking over? She was in like the south side of Chicago, and of course, I would assume a lot of people really don't give a shit out there, like that the virus is going on. People are still wearing masks, but anyways, there was a whole basketball game going on, and she walks over to this park, and it's younger kids, and they're playing basketball. They have masks on, whatever. But she's like, you guys are going to get arrested. You need to get out of here. Go home. Do you want to bring this home to your parents? Blah, blah, blah. And there was just a kid. He was like, you old heads need to figure this out because this shit is whack. And he's like, he was just like yelling at her. He's like, why don't you guys figure this shit out? All you old motherfuckers. But I thought it was pretty hilarious.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, old people. Fuck.
Yeah. It's all right. Whatever. All the politicians are pointing fingers, and the last thing they want are people like saying like, you're not obeying. Like Pritzker, for example, somebody was like, didn't your wife just drive down to Florida or whatever and not social distance? And he was just like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to take this. Shut up, dude.
I mean, everyone fucking sucks. Like you and I, like we got together in your backyard yesterday, and apparently the mayor of your town is your neighbor, and he's like yelling at your neighbors for not wearing masks and shit. So
yeah.
All of us suck.
Whatever.
Some of us suck more than others. I don't know.
Somebody suck me.
Perfect fucking segue. There it is. Here we are. We are going to talk about, in my opinion, the best new show on television this season, which is Dave on FX.
Dave.
So,
hi, I'm Dave.
It's fucking brilliant, in my opinion. Currently only at 62% from critics, but
That
90%
is
fans.
That is criminal. That is criminal.
So I went through and I tried to figure out like what the common thread was in why critics didn't like this. And the entire argument was, hey, Atlanta already did this, so this can't be as good, which is an insane take to me.
They were calling it a parody of Atlanta, and I was just like, no.
So if you have an extremely successful show with an extremely successful rapper, and you have another extremely successful rapper, and you can make another show that's basically the same thing, but also people still love it, what's the problem?
I don't think it is just like Atlanta. I think it's like somewhat. I've seen the first season of Atlanta. I loved Atlanta. I thought it was great. Honestly, I want to go back and finish more. But I feel like there was a much different route that both of these people took to get to where they were. And I think it's such a unique story for a Jewish white rapper who is basically has a weird fucking dick because he was born. It was just like a weird thing that human standards they don't accept it, but he turned it into his own and made it like popular, made it unique to his own and his own story. I think that was what was the big power behind this one, is also the relationships in this were fantastic. I thought they built the characters extremely well throughout each episode. And it was funny. They had great tracks. The soundtrack in this whole show was fantastic. The stories in there, they all are lined, I think, perfectly with jabs of humor, jabs of realism and relationships, and also just jabs of like the real world, kind of like it's a little, sometimes it gets dark. It's got all the aspects that are just like make a perfect show. I think I love
really dark and really sad at certain points. Mark, I'm going to try and not say so much about this because I'm drunk. So why don't you tell me what you think about this show as a whole?
So I'm not saying I'm going to side with critics at all, because I thought this was a great show. If not great, I didn't like it as much as Atlanta. I think that is a great series. But I really did like the show a lot. I do get it though. The first couple episodes, I know who Little Dicky is. I know what he raps about. I know what kind of person he is. And being a critic, I can kind of see where they saw these first couple episodes and were like, okay, because he does make a lot of dick jokes. It's him fucking one of the episodes is revolving around him in his like sexual fantasies, or just, you know, those type of problems with his girlfriend. So it's a lot of awkwardness at some points. And not every episode was like that really meaningful, good, like takeaway story, you know, like Gator, for example. He had his own episode, and that was probably the best episode of the whole series, is the one about Gator and his yes. So I do kind of see where critics, they probably saw the first 3 episodes and were like, all right, this isn't the greatest thing ever, and I don't really have background on this guy, but I thought it was hilarious. This is definitely my kind of sense of humor, like that he has. I can fully take somebody in a completely awkward situation and watch it and love it, while on the other hand, Kelly was sitting next to me for a few episodes, and there were some really awkward moments. And she's like, I can't even watch this right now. It's just super awkward. I'm like, yeah, but it's fucking great. So I can see where some people didn't think it was the best thing in the world. But on the other hand, I really liked it because this is something that I found really unique. And I don't know, it hit me in a different way. So yeah.
I thought the entire thing was fucking brilliant. And the comparison to Atlanta, like, to call that an insult is insane. Like, Atlanta is brilliant, and so is this, in my opinion. I've also been a fan of Little Dicky for a few years, and I think Dave Bird is fucking hilarious. So for critics to come out and say like, oh, this is derivative of Atlanta, like, yeah, so what? Like, they're the same people who are saying like, oh, this new season of fucking, I don't know, The Bachelor is the best ever. Well, guess what? It's the same as the fucking last season, except this has different jokes. This has different characters. Mm-hmm. And you get introduced to people like Gata, who is apparently a personal friend of mine because he knows my name. Like, this is so much better than anything like that. And this is Lil Dicky, if you don't know, is like an amazing rapper. And I think my biggest problem with that, with this actual series, is that you only really get him freestyling in the first and the very last episode. Because what I really want is to see him fucking go nuts on the microphone at all times. And I know that's really hard to do. Like, there's some pre-writing that goes into that, but that's really what I was missing out of this. Is like every episode I was like, fuck, sit down and do a freestyle about this. And in reality, we only got that 2 out of 10 times.
I think they did I want to go into the kind of the relationships that they built throughout the entire show. First of all, I guess him and Allie. What did you think about him and Allie together?
I thought it was great. They had a really nice rapport, and she was a developed character. They had a very awkward interaction about a fake butt, which I thought was hilarious. And it was a recurring joke that shows up later in the season. And man, when they pulled out the recurring joke and in the 9th episode, I was literally crying laughing.
In the 9th episode, which recurring joke was?
I don't want to spoil it, but the
later.
Table,
yes,
I was crying laughing when they brought that back into focus. I was dying.
Yes, no, that was episode 4, the milking table. But they bring it back in episode 9.
They bring it back later. Like one of the guys tries to set down. His manager tries to set down.
Oh,
the
I didn't realize
so
that.
it's like it's a recurring gag that they just absolutely fucking nail, and I was crying laughing.
No, that milking table was absolutely hilarious. When at the very end of episode 4 or whatever, I was dying laughing at that point. But also, it's something about like that relationship early on and how Allie tries to open up, and it kind of reveals why Little Dicky kind of became Little Dicky to begin with, because he was ashamed of what his actual dick, like
Little Dicky.
Yeah, and it like brought them closer together and brought everyone else. I felt the characters like closer together, in my opinion. And then episode 9 was like, I think they did a fantastic job, kind of putting a little arc on that, and just that interlude. I love the interlude that they did. It was like such an organic. We're just hanging out, but when you go back and listen to it, every single word or line in there, back and forth, if you take it out of context, is like any relationship that doesn't work. It just like kind of comes into that. It's crazy.
I rewatched his final freestyle 3 times.
So good.
And if you haven't ever seen Little Dicky freestyle, he does one on Sway in the Morning, which was, I think, within the last 6 months, like when he was originally out promoting his new show. It's fucking brilliant, and it goes on for 6 minutes.
Jesus.
6 minutes of fucking freestyling. Can you imagine that? Like being able to have that many bars to just go insane.
I can't even.
So crazy to me.
We can't even pontificate for 30 seconds, let alone freestyle rap for 6 minutes.
You're literal idiots.
Yes. Broken, brain dead idiots.
Mark, do you have any other thoughts on this show?
No, I like. So what I appreciated was like the take on hyper masculinity and how it's like you have Dave, who is everything opposite of that. Like he's not your big guy. He makes fun of himself all the time. He has these, I mean, he wants to prove himself, but at the same time, he kind of hesitates into showing his full potential. Example being like that first episode where he really shied away from like wanting to rap in front of these people. And it just gives you a different perspective. And I don't want to compare this to Atlanta, but it's like Donald Glover and Dave Bird.
It's basically Atlanta, but for Little Dicky.
They're completely different in their characteristics and who they are as a person. And this Dave obviously should be all about Dave. I mean, it should be about Dave Bird. And that's what I really enjoyed about this is like every episode he was in, I thought he was great. Like everything he was talking about, everything he was doing, it was like a something you haven't seen in television before. His jokes and how he was kind of thinking about himself. And then there was towards the end, him getting more and more into fame and how that affected him and his narcissism and things like that, and affected his relationship with his girlfriend. It was just a different take than what you've seen in Atlanta, but Atlanta does some amazing things, but I just hate the comparison because I can see where it is, but in my opinion, it's just not there. They're very different shows, but I can see how people are relating them because there's very few shows like Atlanta and like Dave out there. So
and there's Atlanta and there's Dave. Yeah. And I feel like Dave is more about self-deprecating than Atlanta is, where it's just like, hey, let's hang out and let's the main character in Atlanta is just kind of like he's the outsider, whereas Dave, Little Dicky and Dave is the star, and he's trying to make his music known
as an outsider, as a white Jewish rapper in a notoriously black community.
Yeah, which
is that's where they're drawing the line, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's very two different come ups.
I feel like you don't have to pick between one or the other. I feel
agree.
like if you like one, you're going to like the other, and that's all you should really need. And that's why that's the disparity that I have with the actual critics shitting on this show, like saying that it's an Atlanta knockoff. Like, Atlanta was good. Let's make another one. Okay, let's fucking do it. It's awesome.
Yeah, fuck that. That was awesome. I loved I loved this, Dave. It was great. I went back and watched it a second time. So
It is, in my opinion, the best new show of 2020. It's not really close.
I agree by a landslide.
I love the celebrity cameos too, like Trippie Redd and Bieber's in an episode, and Kourtney Kardashian, or who was it?
Yep, it was.
One of the Kardashians.
I didn't realize that Blanco was a real person. I thought that was definitely like a fucking made up guy that they were just like, oh, this is an idiot that we're gonna throw in here.
Like the Trace Comas from Silicon Valley. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I just looked at the guy. I was like, no fucking way is that really a fucking music producer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did have some great cameos in this. And the second episode had me hooked, and the first episode had me hooked. I didn't expect it at all. There's a lot of very close, just like humor in there. That's observational humor, situational humor that he just like brings up, kind of social situations, and they hit a home run every single episode. I loved it.
Dave too. Like he writes those jokes, and it's like when he meets Justin Bieber or when he meets Kourtney Kardashian and meets dude Marshmallow's cameo in this was
oh my god.
Yeah.
How about Andrew Santino as playing Mike, the manager, who might low-key be Wilpo's cousin or whatever?
I need a picture of Wilpo with him before I will actually believe that happened.
Whatever. I just think that role was so funny for me. Everything that he did.
Like a guy who's so straight edge, who's like, I will manage you, but also I'm going to be like the whitest guy ever.
And he had so many little subtle lines in the whole show that I thought he was the funniest part in the whole series. He had a lot of different quibs.
Okay, funniest, yeah. My favorite character though is Gata, because he's the most nuanced. Because he clearly has some like background problems, and he's working through that to be friends with Dave. The way that he backed Dave up in the final episode of the season, like that, it warmed my heart. Like I can't put it any different way than that. Like it was so satisfying for him to step up and just be like, yeah, this is my guy.
Yeah, and also after watching the last episode and going back to the first episode where they first meet each other, and just Gata throughout the whole show has been that same character. He's always been there, just like, yeah, like I got your back the whole time. And I just like the way that his character is kind of brought up, and then they hit you home with that 5th episode where they kind of show you the background of his actual character, and you're just like, damn, dude, Dave low-key is heavy, but it's also so good.
That honestly, again, that's another parallel to Atlanta. It's like there's heavy shit in there, but you want to laugh with these characters, and it's so hard to not take it seriously.
They have so much levity in there, but they also hit you hard when it comes to the actual character depth, I guess. Like you are just like, so I was attached to all these characters. I didn't want the season to end. I wanted I loved it.
Yeah, the last episode though, I don't know how much Breakfast Club you guys actually watched besides like Lil Dicky's freestyle that he did, but Charlemagne is the guy that asks all the hard questions and all the questions people are thinking, and he doesn't give a shit. But like him prying at Lil Dicky for having Gata in his crew, and him saying like, kind of hinting at him being like the token black guy, and like, you just have this guy in your group because you need a black guy in your group, kind of thing. It was like, it got to the point where I was like, all right, I don't think Charlemagne in real life would really say something like that, but it got to the point where it's like, this is what the episode was trying to reveal, is like,
it raised the stakes.
Yeah, it raised the stakes and uncovered like how Dave really felt about Gata and why they're friends, and how Gata felt about Dave as well. So, and also, I get it, but at the same time I was like, Charlemagne's not that big of a dick.
Yeah, no, he came at him super hard,
really hard.
Like they also throughout that whole episode, or the whole time, they did a lot of recurring jokes, and there's another one that lands, I should say, in that last little part.
All right, Brick, last thoughts on Dave on Netflix.
Go watch it, binge it, see it all the way through. Episode 9 I thought was my favorite, just because it was just I thought a lot of the shit that kind of built up throughout the whole season kind of collapsed at that moment. But also, yeah, 10 was fantastic.
That was the most, I don't know, upsetting episode, maybe.
Potentially, yeah, absolutely, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Mark, last thoughts.
Man, yeah, go watch the show. Every episode hits on something different, whether it be like issues with your group of friends, issues with your girlfriend, issues with you believing in yourself and how you see yourself and how other people see yourself. Like it literally hits on everything. And one of my favorite episodes I just want to mention is actually when his like old friends come back into the picture and they go out, and all of those friends were trying to do was like get a laugh, and laugh at Dave rather than with him, kind of thing. And it got to the point where at the end, he's like, I don't fucking need these guys. And his now friends were like, why the fuck do you fuck with these guys still? It's like things like episodes like that. You don't really see shows that talk about things like that, which are more relatable than any other thing out there that you'll see on TV, even fucking reality TV. So that's what I really appreciated about this series so far. But go watch Dave. End of story.
Yeah. He's, as far as lyricists go, top 10 alive right now, like not close. Yeah. He's a brilliant rapper. And that's so weird to say about a weird Jewish guy whose name is literally a dick joke, but yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah. It's great how he overcomes that parody of himself, or like what he's he wants to exploit, obviously, what he's been going through, but at the same time he uses it to his advantage. I just think it's a great story. I love it. Great characters.
All right, let's do our recommendations for the week. Let me kick this off. Brick, you and I played some Moving Out earlier this week. It's a game where it's a co-op game where basically you need to have 4 people. Is that fair?
No, we played it with 2 and 3. It was fun. It was still they changed the outputs of it. So it's like, rather than needing to move this person out in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, if you have 3 people, it's 2 people in 3 minutes if you have 3 people, rather than 2:30 with 4. So it kind of
it's
itself up.
Game basically where you are an animal in a wheelchair sometimes, and you're just like you're taking everybody's shit out of the house and you're throwing it into a truck, and just like you have a time limit and you're just trying to get it done before the time expires. And it's so dumb. It's so simple, but at the same time, like, it requires so much teamwork and thought. And some of the I guess maps have like different ways in which you can do things faster. I'm doing a shit job of fucking explaining this, but Brick, can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so it's basically, I'm just going to butcher it just like you did. I played it just as much as you did. I think it's funny that the actual first inclusion game that I've seen with people in wheelchairs is a thing where it's a moving company
game.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I thought that was kind of funny. Oh yeah, let's have these 3 kittens in wheelchairs move out my entire house. Yeah, that's going to be very effective. Do it in 3 minutes. Also, by the way, that's basically what it is. It's you clean out all this stuff. Some things are 1 person, some things are 2 people that you have to coordinate throwing these things out of the house. You break windows. It's funny. It's over the top. It's good. It's cheap.
Don't take it seriously.
$10, $15, $20. I don't know.
Sounds just like that cooking game.
It is.
It's not
made by the same people.
It's not marketed online through Xbox yet, so we had to play it through Steam Play, which sucked.
Overcooked is the game you're talking about. Made by the same people.
I'm talking about Moving Out.
I'm talking about, Mark said the same, reminds you of that cooking game, which is Overcooked, and it's made by the same people. That's
what you're talking about. Mark, what's your recommendation?
Man, this is an oldie, but Berserk. It's a manga. I'm reading it, and if you've ever read manga, if you're a comic book reader, you're just going to be reading backwards. And I'm actually getting used to it, and it's pretty interesting. But this is a really fucked up story, and I'm just finishing up the first volume. There's like 6 huge volumes of this manga. There's also an anime that I'm watching on Netflix too, which pretty much just takes all of the manga stories and consolidates it into a 3-part movie series that's, I think the first one's called Golden Circle. So you could go watch that right now. It's like an hour and a half, but it's actually really good. So I definitely recommend watching the anime if you just want to kind of get a glimpse into what type of thing you'd be reading. But in my opinion, it's just a really fucked up, like, how do I put it? It's kind of like Witcher. It's like the Game of Thrones-y kind of thing, but there's monsters and there's just this badass guy called Guts who has a giant sword, and he is just a strong motherfucker and everyone doubts him. And he is kind of on his own and just out there to fuck people up that are in the wrong. So it's very graphic. What's up?
What a selling point.
Yeah. It's super graphic.
Murder and blood.
A lot. But it's good so far. So check it out if you like that kind of stuff. But Berserk.
Rick, anything else?
Random. I believe this came out in 2018 for some reason, but Waco on Netflix is about that cult in Waco. And it just is a great limited series. Say that again.
Heaven's Gate.
Is that the cult?
Yeah.
Yeah. That does ring true. But it's just a great story overall. It's a limited series. It's on Netflix. It's trending now. Check that out. It's actually a very good show. I was hooked when I was watching it. Waco.
I'm trying really hard to think of the name of the guy who's Michael Shannon is like the FBI agent.
Correct.
And
David Koresh.
One of the best fucking actors, especially like as a bad guy. And not saying that he is a bad guy in this show, but he kind of is a dick. But yeah, Michael Shannon is an excellent actor. This show is actually really good. It originally aired on TNT, I want to say. But yeah, definitely check that out.
Hell yeah.
It's now. I think that's about it for us. We've gone an hour and 20. So if you want to check us out, our interviews aired on Mainframe Comic-Con YouTube channel. We talked to Lamorne Morris, who you would recognize as Winston from New Girl. We also talked to the creators and voice actors of Robot Chicken. So check that out. I don't know. We have a YouTube channel, chumpcast.com, or no, youtube.com/chumpcast.
Go subscribe to that shit.
Mark, can you fucking please lead us out of this, because I'm not all here right now.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Until next time, Chumps out, motherfuckers.
Ciao, bella.